Our journey begins. It is day 126, October 4, 2024. And I'm going to go over really briefly, just to summarize, what are the components of this new language that I'm going to work on creating. Just to help summarize this for the times when it's been sort of in the middle of when I've been talking about other items. So first of all, it needs to be able to be spoken. Natural language, which natural is obviously a definition which could potentially be played with, especially as humans could evolve further as we approach AI. Thinking about the syntax as being completely different than what normal and usual language is. Something where the grammar itself is structured in a way which reflects almost more of the thought process and other interlacing aspects. A vocabulary or lexicon which is almost entirely self-organizing, in which the terminology is very precise and self-organizing, in that you can create terms and based on sounds can create words and syllables which can create words, etc. Allowing the language to be phonetically harmonious. Having the aspect of the entire language being modular and self-organizing. Thinking about being able to speak the language almost as more of a knowledge graph than compared to how we typically convey information. There are some other aspects in here which I'm going to be thinking about more as more of the detailed aspects, but let's talk about the more important aspects. Eliminating ambiguity, especially as AI is going to be coming about. And in general, I think just eliminating ambiguity can be a good thing, unless you want to be ambiguous, in which case that would be obviously allowable. It's just purposely eliminating as much ambiguity as possible. Simplified pronunciation and writing. Thinking through the process of compound nouns and having self-organizing principles for that. Thinking through the root words, the lexicon, the syllables. Thinking through about how to implement mathematics in order to be able to speak the language and convey mathematics without having all of the extra symbols that are typically used for mathematics. Being able to program by speaking this language. So literally by using this natural language, this can be converted completely, or this can be used, and interpreters can literally enact programming applications based on this natural language because it is not ambiguous and because of the structure. Enabling decision-making frameworks. Enabling for this idea of being able to have multiple running possibilities, but then collapsing. So these ideas that would allow for this quantum reality. Intention-based tenses, just thinking through that. Thinking through time perception and how to enable a deeper sense of time, or a more sort of grand sense of time. Being able to evolve the language, understanding contextual relationships, predictive structure, which goes back to part of the ambiguity part, where at the end, when the meaning is collapsed essentially, because there is only one most significant probable determination of what you were trying to convey through whatever you were saying. Simplicity, other upgrades, thinking through aspects of hierarchy and recursion, being able to express with power, social and emotional context embedding, thinking through the theory of mind, being able to convey emotions and emotion states, being able to really speak with philosophical depth, thinking through it as a language of coordination and collaboration, integrating concepts from the dispossessed and the culture, modular descriptions, being able to use pattern recognition in a significant sense when it comes to integrating some of these alterations in structure, self-organizing, writing, thinking through being able to read this in VR, thinking through how this language could almost self-organize your personal profile. And so by speaking the language, it would almost be completely unique to you because you would say things based on your personal profile. And then really thinking through the structure and the organization, how the language itself will be conveyed completely differently than the typical way that we typically have syntax and natural language. Thinking through the beauty and making it aesthetic. Thinking about it as being able to be machine readable. Thinking about it as being decentralized. And then going through an inventory of all current languages to consider aspects that they have. And then really thinking through the alternative symbols and how that will combine with the structure and the vocabulary to really create this much more efficient language. Let me know your thoughts. This has been a brief overview. I know it's just some headlines, and I haven't really justified any of the aspects, but I've talked through a lot of the aspects in other videos, but I just wanted to give a good overview. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.